This Ukrainian-made video depicts classic spy activities, paired with a warning, "We will find you." It's a response by Ukraine's intelligence agency, the SBU, to an alarming trend. Ukrainian teenagers and children as young as 12 are carrying out such acts of sabotage and espionage for Russia. Prosecutors say they're being recruited and instructed by Russian FSB agents, often through encrypted messaging apps. He is one of them. We're calling him Maxim. He doesn't want to be identified. We meet him at a police station in Kharkiv, his lawyer by his side.
I'm 16 years old. I live in Kharkiv. I go to school and I hang out with my friends. At home, I usually help my father.
Maxim's father is a carpenter with health problems. His mother died when he was 9. Last December, he started looking for work, together with a friend.
On Telegram, we looked through different channels where people post jobs in Kharkiv. We found a job putting up posters. I messaged a guy called Vladimir. He asked my age, name, city, and if I had experience.
Maxim and his friend were told to hang posters advertising driver jobs in public squares. They earned 400 hryvnia, just over €8, paid through a banking app. Quick and easy. Then came the next assignment for €20.
We had to spray paint a wall near the railway, writing that our president is a scumbag and other insults.
Maxim says he was skeptical about the job, but he followed the order and sent a picture to Vladimir as proof. Straight after, he painted over it, he says. Then came bigger tasks.
I was sent coordinates where I was supposed to go and take pictures. When I arrived, I realized it was a power plant. I refused and left. The next day, he told me to set fire to a transformer box near the railway.
Again, he refused, but Vladimir threatened him. Maxim was starting to fear for his life and that of his father.
He sent me my dad's phone number and said if you don't do it, he'll feel bad. I was so scared, I started shaking. I thought I'll do it one last time. He promised 10,000 hryvnias.
A little over €200. So Maxim set the transformer box on fire and sent a short video to Vladimir. Fearing it might cause a train to derail, he says he put the fire out himself. Not long after, he was caught by Ukrainian police. Alexander Shevchenko is leading the investigation into Maxim's case and 40 similar ones involving minors.
We're talking about terrorist acts. The central communication station was set on fire. Relay cabinets and military vehicles also set on fire. I'd say the enemy is exploiting the psychological vulnerability of teenagers quite effectively, tapping into their thirst for adventure, youthful idealism, and the desire to gain recognition among their peers.
Minors from unstable homes are most at risk, he says. Their recruitment begins in Telegram groups, then moves to private chats, making it hard to trace. After recruits have completed a few harmless tasks, they receive their real assignment.
The teenagers were given instructions to go to a hardware store and buy the necessary components for an explosive device. They were instructed on what to buy, how to mix it, in what proportions, and so on.
A police officer takes us to the site of an attack. Last December, a 15-year-old detonated a homemade explosive device near a Kharkiv police station. The blast caused only minor damage, and no one was injured, but it could have turned out differently. In another incident, a child died when detonating a device. Police say law enforcement is working closely with schools and child services to warn minors, but says parents need to step up too.
Parents should pay more attention to the development of their children, have more preventative conversations with them, and tell their children what not to do.
Maxim claims he didn't realize he was being used by Russians because Vladimir messaged him in Ukrainian, and that he was too scared to walk away.
I did it out of fear, more than anything, fear. First for my dad, then for myself. You never know what could have happened.
Maxim says he's learned his lesson, but likely too late. The teenager's been charged with sabotage and is facing up to a decade behind bars.
And I'm joined here in the studio by our correspondent, Mariel Müller, who filed that report for us. Great to see you, Mariel. Are these young people aware that they're working for Russian intelligence, or do they largely think they're just doing some odd jobs for some good, decent money?
So most of them don't grasp the bigger picture. They actually think they're doing some small side jobs to earn quick, easy money. It's only later when they realize, oh, this is actually a bigger criminal, dangerous endeavor, and then often it's already too late at that point, because at that point they're already being blackmailed into continuing these tasks. They're being blackmailed with the tasks that they've already performed, which might have been criminal, or they're also blackmailed with photos that have been hacked from their phones, or in Maxim's case, he was directly threatened and they told him, look, we're going to hurt your dad, or we're going to hurt you as well. And so he felt trapped, and that's this cycle where they feel like they cannot escape.
You mentioned in your report that some of these sabotage acts can actually turn deadly. I mean, we saw it starts with easy stuff and then it builds up. Can you tell us a little bit more about that aspect of it?
Yeah, so there was one incident where in which one teenager died or was killed. There were several other incidents in which teenagers were seriously injured while carrying out these acts, right? Acts of sabotage, of arson. So it is quite dangerous. And in this case of a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old teenager, they were promised $1,700 if they would plant 2 bombs near a train station. So they followed the online instruction of how to build a homemade explosive device by these Russian handlers. And they built 2 bombs out of thermos flasks and metal nuts. And when they arrived at the specific location, they were given the coordinates. They went to this train station and they planted the bomb. And then the Russian handlers actually remotely detonated these bombs. And that's how the 17-year-old was killed, tragically, and the 15-year-old lost both his legs. And yeah, basically they were turned into suicide bombers without them knowing.
Okay. I mean, that's quite a shocking story, isn't it? And their children, 15 and 17. Is the government doing anything to actually, to stop this from happening?
Yeah, so police, also the SBU, they reach out to parents, to social workers, to teachers, to schools. Also, they're running online warning ads like the one that you saw in the report. They also go physically where young people are, to classrooms. So they're sending former SBU agents into classrooms. They're presenting them, like this is how it looks like. This is a Telegram chat. This is how they approach you. They're not only doing it on Telegram, they're also doing it on TikTok or Discord or other messaging apps and social media apps. So teenagers are aware, they know, okay, it looks innocent. They might talk to you in Ukrainian, but it doesn't mean that it's safe. And they are giving you money, or they're offering you money for little tasks, like bring a package from A to B, put up posters. So they're being basically deterred as well, because these former SBU agents in these classrooms, when they present these screenshots and tell these stories, they are also telling them about these incidents where this teenager died, or
so they're upping the level of education about
Exactly.
the fact that this is obviously happening and growing. Can we just talk about the Russian side of things? I mean, what does this say about Russia's strategy? Why are we turning to sort of teenagers for sabotage and espionage?
Yeah, so it's low cost and low risk for them, because they are not risking to lose a well-trained, expensive agent, right? They just reach out to teenagers, which are easy to access, easy to reach on social media. Teenagers are, it's not suspicious when they move from one location to the other, especially when they come in pairs or in groups. So it's hard to detect for Ukrainian security services. Oftentimes, the teenagers themselves, they don't know where they're going. They just get a coordinate or coordinates, and then they go there, and that's when they realize, oh, this is critical infrastructure, or this is a military site. And that's actually what happened to Maxime as well. He told me that on his last task, he was just accompanying a friend, according to him. They went to this given location to take pictures. They realized upon arriving that it was a military site, and they even saw a rocket launcher. And that's when he told me that's when they refused to take pictures and to carry out this mission. And so they refused and wanted to leave. And at that moment, patrolling soldiers spotted them and called the police on them, and that's how they were caught. So yes, but Ukrainian investigators believe that the information intelligence gathered like this through teenagers like Maxime is being used and could have been used to guide missile and drone strikes.
Mariel, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for that. That's DW's special correspondent, Mariel Müller.